The text came at 7:42 a.m. just as I was balancing an iced latte and trying not to ruin my white sneakers in a puddle near Grand Army Plaza. Got your cinnamon roll. Don't be late. E. I wasn't E. I was Martha, a woman who usually swallowed her mornings with caffeine and quiet panic. My thumb hovered over delete, but something about the tone stopped me. Felt soft, domestic kind. The kind of normal I hadn't felt in a while. I typed back before I could second-guess it. Wrong number. But the cinnamon roll sounds amazing. He replied almost instantly. Oh no. Second time this week. My apologies. If the roll disappears, know I did it for the greater good. Then another. I'm Evan. Something about the honesty or maybe the humor made me laugh out loud. I wrote, Martha. I'll mentally steal your cinnamon roll. Have a good morning, Evan. I figured that was it. But around noon, while I was heading back to my tech office in Dumbo, another message popped up. Martha, you won't believe it. I was late but the roll survived. That has to mean something. Maybe a sign to stop confusing phone numbers. How's your city treating you today? I smiled. My city's loud like the neighbor upstairs learning drums. Yours? Also Brooklyn. My neighbor's a dog who's scared of his own shadow. I'm an architect working on a park design. A quiet one. A place people can disappear for 5 minutes and come back better. There was something oddly poetic about that. I glanced at my screen full of wireframes and app mockups, my day job, and typed, I think you already built one of those parks in my phone. That night I didn't go straight home. I walked along the waterfront under the Manhattan Bridge. The air smelled like pizza and wet leaves. We texted for hours about tiny things that shouldn't matter but somehow did. The impossibility of buying just one banana at Trader Joe's, how New Yorkers always pretend they know where they're going even when they're lost. He texted, I keep writing because this feels like a safe window. You can say the truth here, and it won't echo back too loudly. If you want, you can too. I stared at that line for a long time, then typed, Truth? I moved here from Denver with a suitcase full of expectations that weren't mine. I'm supposed to be thriving, designing, building something new. Some days I just don't hear the ocean everyone talks about. A pause. Then his reply. I'm glad you said that. I'm 32. Ended an engagement 2 years ago, not from drama, just from silence. We lived side by side but in different worlds. Sounds familiar? I stood by the window of a small cafe, watching the barista line up cups like tiny soldiers. Familiar, I wrote. And before I could think too much, another message appeared. Then maybe we both needed a wrong number. I didn't know what to call the feeling that rose up in me. Not love, not even hope. Just a pulse. Something waking up. By the end of that week, I knew the rhythm of his messages better than the subway schedule. He texted early, always something small like, Sky looks like coffee today. Or, do you think pigeons ever get tired of New York too? I never understood how words from a stranger could feel so warm. But Evan had this way of making ordinary things sound like secrets. Friday evening he sent, My firm's working late. I'm bribing myself with pizza. You? I was sitting on my couch with Thai takeout and a Netflix show I wasn't really watching. Pad Thai, sweatpants, mild existential crisis. You win. You'd be surprised. Cold pizza and bad lighting don't scream victory. We talked until nearly midnight. About architecture and app design. About how we both pretended to know what we were doing in our 20s and still did. He said, If you ever see a park near the East River with too many benches, that's me. I like giving people a choice of where to sit. Choice matters, I wrote. Sometimes I forget that includes who we text back. The next morning I woke up to a photo. A paper cup of coffee on a park bench. A half-eaten cinnamon roll beside it. Figured I owed you breakfast. Digitally, at least. I smiled so wide it hurt. My roommate, Kayla, noticed and raised an eyebrow. Who's got you grinning like a Hallmark card? No one, I said too quickly. She laughed. You're blushing. That's not no one. That's someone trying to become someone. That night, Evan wrote again. Random thought. What's your favorite place in the city when you need to breathe? I hesitated. Sharing favorite places felt almost intimate. There's a bookstore in Williamsburg. Tiny, smells like paper and coffee. They let you sit for hours without buying anything. Sounds like heaven. Maybe I'll guess which one someday. That word someday lingered like perfume. We hadn't talked about meeting, but I could feel the idea forming, quiet and inevitable. Days passed. Our messages stretched longer, filled with half-jokes and what-ifs. He told me his ex had wanted silence where he wanted conversation. I told him I kept pretending I was fine when I wasn't. Then one night, just before midnight, he wrote, "I'm thinking of taking a walk by the bridge. Could use a view. Or maybe just the air." Without really planning it, I replied, "Funny. I'm walking there too." That wasn't true. I was in pajamas, but something inside me, curiosity, restlessness, longing, made me grab my coat and keys. The city felt different that night. Colder but alive. The East River shimmered like liquid glass. I stopped near the railing, phone buzzing in my pocket. "Where are you?" he texted. "By the middle section, near the old lamppost." There was a long pause. Then, "Martha, you're not joking, are you?" My heart stuttered. "Guess not." No emoji. No nervous laughter. Just silence, then footsteps behind me. I turned. But it wasn't him. Just another late-night jogger. I exhaled, half laughing at myself, half scared of what I'd almost done. A message came through. I was actually on my way there. But maybe next time we plan it. "Maybe," I wrote, fingers trembling a little. As I walked home, something in me shifted. I didn't know what we were. Strangers, friends, something suspended between hope and hesitation. But I knew I wanted to keep finding out. We met 2 weeks later. It happened quietly, the way all big things do, not planned, not perfect. Evan texted that morning. "Found a spot with cinnamon rolls that rival destiny. Want to test the theory?" I almost said no. Fear disguised as logic. You don't know him, it'll be awkward, what if it ruins everything? But then I thought of his messages, his steady warmth through a glowing screen, and how rare that felt in a city built on rush and noise. Send the address. The cafe was tucked near the river, full of plants and soft jazz. I saw him before he saw me, sitting by the window, hands wrapped around a mug, eyes on the street. No filters, no guessing. Just him. He stood when I walked up. We both laughed, small, nervous, like we'd been waiting for a script that never came. "Hi," I said. "Hi," he echoed, and for a second, it felt like the simplest word in the world. We sat. Talked. Not about anything deep, the weather, the music, how Brooklyn smells like bagels and ambition. But there was comfort in the pauses. I noticed how he listened, really listened, like he was tracing every word. At one point he said, "You're quieter than in text." "I'm trying to believe this is real," I admitted. He smiled. "It is. Just slower. And warmer." When the waiter brought 2 cinnamon rolls, we both laughed again, full circle. He broke one in half and pushed the plate toward me. "For statistical accuracy," I said. "You just want to prove fate can bake." We stayed for hours. The sky turned soft gray, and the cafe lights reflected off the glass, making it feel like we were inside some small universe made of sugar and second chances. When it was time to leave, we walked toward the park near the bridge. His park, the one he'd mentioned. It wasn't finished yet, just a frame of what would be. The benches were wrapped in plastic, waiting for spring. He said, "When it's done, I'll save one of those benches for you. You can sit there when the city gets too loud." I looked at him, really looked, the quiet steadiness, the unassuming kindness. "You already did," I said. He didn't try to kiss me. We just stood there, hands brushing once, twice, and then staying. The river kept moving, the city hummed behind us, and for the first time since I'd moved to New York, I didn't feel like I was pretending. Later that night he texted, "So, still think wrong numbers are accidents?" I typed back, "No. Some of them are maps."